In September and October of 2011, I had a restaurant. It was a small Italian restaurant, and I'd had it for less than half of a year. But in those 2 months alone, I lost over $20,000 each month. Each month. I've been losing money up to then, trying to get a handle on this thing. But in those 2 months, this was 9/11, nobody was coming out. We lost over $20,000 each one of those months. Now, it was less than 3 years later we decided to shut the business down because we lost everything. Everything was gone. We lost everything in that restaurant, including the 4 businesses that were good, our home, cars, everything. The only thing we were left with was a 12-year-old Ford Explorer which had over almost 200,000 miles on it. And the only reason nobody, the bank or creditor, didn't want it is because we owned it and it wasn't worth anything. And I actually thought that was going to be my home. We were about 2 weeks from living in that vehicle at that time. Now, after we failed at that business, everyone told me, Ed, you failed because of the circumstances that you had to face. It's okay. And I believed them for a season. And I believed them because it made me feel better. I loved hearing it was the circumstances and not me. The problem is they lied. And I was lying to myself. It wasn't the circumstances. Let's get this straight. You're going to face circumstances and I am. Some of them is going to be fair, some's not going to be fair. Some of it's going to be our fault, and some it's not going to be our fault. 9/11 wasn't my fault, or anyone else's fault in this country who faced it and had to live through it. It wasn't our fault, but it happened. It was a circumstance. And what circumstances do is they grade your choices, meaning that today's choices are going to be graded by tomorrow's tests and circumstances. And they're wanting to know the answer. Pass or fail. That's it. It's the only grade you're going to get. And the choices that I made in our restaurant were poor. The majority of them were terrible. I made a choice not to have systems, internal systems. I made a choice not to follow or look at the details. I made a choice to allow the employees to set the standard of customer service. I also made a choice not to listen to my mentor, and I made a choice to over-leverage myself and buy a business when I was overextended financially. I made all those choices. Every one of them were a poor choice. Every one of them got a failing grade. All 9/11 did, and other circumstances that we faced in the 3 years of that business did, was expose our poor choices. That's it. Success and failure is based on one thing. You. Me. The choices that we make. Are they good or are they poor? And the choices you're making today will be graded by tomorrow's circumstances. So choose wisely. Because nobody and no circumstance can make you or force you to fail. You have to decide that through the choices that you make. Choose wisely today. My name is Ed Carcarey, and I'd love to connect with you at edcarcarey.com. Find your passion, you'll find your life.